Good evening from the garden. If you watched some of our previous videos about our permaculture kitchen garden, then you know that it is a no-dig garden, and that means that in spring we do not dig the soil, but we do add a layer of compost to each of our beds. To be exact, we add 2 barrow loads per bed, and in today's video I want to show you how that compost is made. I would like to start by saying that I'm no expert on composting, but luckily I don't need to be because nature is an expert on composting. Recently I got a message from someone on Instagram and she wrote to me that she bought a composting bin and that did some research on how to compost and then never started because it all seemed so complicated. So I think the most important thing is to realize that composting is a natural process and that it does not really require you to do anything, that it will just naturally occur even if you just pile all your organic waste in a heap. You can make it as complicated as you want. You can try to get an exact ratio of carbon-rich brown material to green nitrogen-rich material, and it's true that you can make the composting process faster if you do, but the reality of our garden is such that we just add everything always to the heap as it becomes available. Our composting installation consists of 3 compartments made out of wood pallets, and I look for wood pallets that have the stamp HT, which means heat treated. They're not treated with chemicals but just with heat. And then we line them with cardboard before we start adding the organic waste. This is a heap that was built last April, and we have already used most of it to cover our beds. But you can see it was filled to the top, and this is how much the decomposition reduces it. I want to show you what the compost looks like now. You can see it has never been turned. But you can see it's quite fine. There are some wooden stakes, so like depending on the crop that I'll be growing, I either add them to the bed, or if I think they're too large, then I'll just add them to the next year's pile. This is the heap or the compartment that we're filling now, and it's pretty much it's half full already. So now we will put a pallet in front of it to keep it contained, and then put cardboard in front of that as well. And I want to show you some of the materials that we're adding currently. Here are some currants that I pruned, so quite woody material. And I will cut the twigs into smaller pieces, but not really that fine, and just add them. I also have some mustard that was starting to run to seed that I pulled out in the greenhouse. I can add it like that because it's quite green and it will decompose, but I'll probably just cut it in half and add it to the heap. Then I also have this bin that we keep at home close to the kitchen, and where we put all our kitchen scraps in, kitchen waste. I even put some things like moldy bread, or here's a rhubarb muffin that was not eaten in time, cut flowers from our garden, so they're organic, and this is primarily like green material. I'll just put it on the compost heap as well. So when this is filled to the top, we'll cover it with cardboard, and then we will plant a winter squash through a hole in the cardboard. and we will grow one squash plant on this compost heap this season. And that works really well because winter squash is a hungry crop. It needs a lot of nutrients, and it also benefits from the heat that is generating by the composting process. So we always get many more fruits from the winter squash plants that were grown on the compost heap than those that we grow in the soil. So this is how we compost. As you can see, it's not rocket science. Anybody can do it. So please don't be scared of composting. Give it a try, give it a go. If you already compost, let me know in the comments what systems you have and how they work for you. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Happy gardening!